afternoon, good wherever you are. Welcome to It's All About the Grey podcast. I'm honoured to be joined by Valerie Formby, founder of Hub Group and Matrix CoLab co-working space. Valerie, thank you so much for making the time to come on the podcast. It's a interesting time of year coming towards the end of the financial year.
Yeah.
So we're all busy, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm actually super stoked. Really, I was quite. I got a tap on the shoulder. I was good enough to come on Paz's podcast.
Oh.
No, so thank you for having me. It's I feel quite privileged to be here and to share my insights. So yeah,
amazing, and I think the listeners would be very much looking forward to hearing your story, because it hasn't necessarily been a straight normal story of how people come into business or how people even come into Australia. Which we can probably start on that. So we were talking earlier. You'd made mention that at just 19 years of age you moved from South Africa to Perth. So why don't we start there?
So I had met the love of my life. Oh my God, when I was, wait for it, 17, and his family had immigrated to Australia. And I told my parents, I just need to follow the love of my life and I'll just go for 6 months. And my parents were like, great, how are you going to do it? I was like, I'll just sell my car. So I sold my car and I arrived in Australia and none of my luggage arrived. So the Australian government handed me $50. So I literally arrived here with no bags and $50 from the government.
Wow.
My luggage arrived 2 days later, and then I did a events marketing diploma. So I was just going to do a short course, and then it kind of just stayed and didn't go back, and got married and divorced. And then when we had separated, I had gone back to South Africa, and I said to my mum, I think I'm going to come back and I'm either going to study law or medicine. And I got an email from a recruiter saying, I have the perfect job for you. And I thought, oh my God, what is this all about now? And it was selling professional services to law firms.
Right.
Because I love the law. So in my mind, everything was black and white and right and wrong or whatever. And it's quite funny, you mentioned it's all about the grey. And then I took this job and I started to realise that I was selling into a whole new environment that I probably would have never been a lawyer anyway, because I could never represent someone I knew who was guilty, or if contractually they hadn't done the right thing. So my morals were coming into it a bit more. But what I did find was that I was meeting all these incredible people, and that I had the skill set that I didn't know either, that I could communicate and sell and be personable and get deals across the line. And I was, I think, 24, and I remember closing $1 million deal with a multinational company, sitting in a boardroom. And all I had in my mind was fake it till you make it, because you can get it done. But the best part is my brother told me before I went into the interview, go big or go home. Tell them what they need to hear, and whatever you don't know, go home and you learn. And that's exactly what I did, and I got the job. And I was there for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what is it that you sold? A $1 million deal at 24. What was it?
So essentially it was litigation dispute resolution services. Okay. So if you can imagine discovery for big litigation, it was predominantly paper-based, but we were now moving into the electronic space where people were giving hard drives of a terabyte of information. So what the company did was they would take that information, extrapolate it, remove all the duplicates, put it into a software, and then provide lawyers with a platform to be able to do their discovery, make their comments, and essentially formulate their arguments and their briefs. Yeah. Which was really super cool and interesting. And then there was also the hard copy side of it as well. So there was a lot of photocopying, collating, and what I loved about it was I used to get to see all the stuff that was super confidential that wasn't allowed to be spoken about until it came out in the press.
Right.
So it was almost like I was on the inside.
Yeah.
I knew some stuff. But it also taught me a lot about disputes and contracts and business, essentially, of what can go wrong. Because one of the matters, it was ludicrous. These guys, I can talk about it like broadly, they were in Cape Town and they did a deal on a napkin, and there was a huge lawsuit over this napkin or serviette that they had done in a bar in Cape Town.
Contractually binding napkin, was it?
Yep. But that's it, right? Like, it was insane. So I loved that. And, and then I met Christian. And he's a designer. Well, no, he's not a designer. He's an architect and a builder, which is quite unusual. So I asked him one day, why are you both? And he said, well, it's boring to just be an architect because you've got to wait so long for your projects to finish. I actually want to build what I design. So I said, oh, okay. And then I met his business partner and I said, are you really in business with him? Because it just doesn't seem like the right fit. 3 weeks later, he said, let's start a business.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, I've just met you. We've only just started dating. Now we're going to do a business together. So it took me about 6 months to like just, I suppose, absorb. Okay, well, if I'm good at selling things and I understand contracts and disputes, maybe I could do this. So quit my job and started Hub with Christian.
Wow. You do not move slow.
No. Well, I suppose that's the one thing about me. If I just see an opportunity, I'm like, yep, let's go for it.
Right.
And I was petrified, to be honest, because I had no idea. But I had the notion of it's okay to not know everything and it's okay to learn as you go. And the first project I ever did was the redevelopment of the Court Hotel.
Right. Okay.
So I was on site with Christian, learning about OH&S and safety, dealing with trades, contracts with the client, all sorts. And for like 9 months, I call it my baptism by fire. And I became so passionate about what we do because you learn a lot when you're on the ground, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So you've gone from selling professional services to effectively selling building, construction and design services and then having to do it yourself. So just from
I was just on site. I wasn't actually building anything. Disclosure, because you need a license
of some sort. Yeah,
don't have that.
Right. I for a second I thought you are.
No, God, no. I was just on site.
Right.
But I was working from the office. So I was working from the side office. But for me, it was like I was making sure that everyone had their insurances and, OH&S and safety.
Yes.
I probably shouldn't. You could probably edit this out. But like...
Oh, look, I'm sure must have clearly been a very important role. Like effectively site supervisor, site manager type role. Is that what...
No.
Not even?
No, I was just on site learning. Christian is the technical guy. So he was managing all of that.
Right.
But I was observing in this process, and I suppose that's why I say it's my baptism by fire, because I would say to him, that guy just moved the ladder by holding a beam and lifted it with his legs and swung it around. I'm pretty sure that is a potential for an injury, like personal injury claim.
Right.
Can you sort it out? Or there's a ledge there, but there's no warning sign to say don't drink from the tap because you might fall down 2 floors,
Yeah, got it.
And that was the type of stuff that I was learning.
Right.
And then also how to vet your contractors and how to make sure that, they're doing everything to code. Because, again, I had no idea. I was just watching and learning. But it was a really interesting time.
So that was in, 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. So the business is now obviously, fast tracking or moving forward. How did it then evolve into what Hub and Matrix is today?
Yeah, so after the Court Hotel, we worked from home for a while, and then Christian predominantly did office fit outs or medical suites or consulting rooms. He's done quite a bit of hospitality type stuff as well. And I said to Christian, I said, what we have is not your cookie cutter fit out company. What we have is actually a professional services / boutique type company where we're providing more than just an interior design and construction service, because we look at the whole picture. And what we need to do is actually be on the terrace. And I think that's where my background with, I suppose, lawyers and accountants and professional services was, if we want those clients, we need to be in the CBD. Because everyone in construction, or I suppose in tradie land, there's a stigma around, oh, they can just get away with it, you know, they're rules, but we'll just do it this way and that way. Well, I was like, well, no, you're going to do it the Hub way, or you're not going to do it at all. So that's how we started differentiating. And I said to Christian, I would like to be selective in our clients, because if you want cheap, you're going to get cheap. If you want someone that's going to deliver a design that has longevity, quality at a price point that is fair, but, you know, exceeds in terms of the spend of the quality, then you come to Hub. And that was the defining moment where I decided that Hub was going to become my baby, because if it's got the Hub stamp on it, it's essentially got the Val and Christian stamp on it. But that led through, how do we get our designers to do it to that level as well? Because I think it's the care factor, right? I was having a chat to our team one day, and I said, if someone came to you and said, I can do this project for you, and you had to personally spend $500,000 of your own money, how would you want somebody to treat you and your money? And they were all like, what? And I said, no, think about it, guys. If it was your money that they were dealing with, how would you handle it? And I said, that's how I want you to handle every single project, as though it was your own.
Fantastic, yeah.
And I swear to God, it makes such a difference, because the quality, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're not just getting the cheapest price. We're not just going to get someone who promises the world and then under-delivers. So it really is about the client and, you know, making sure that we understand their brief. And I think the other thing is communication of when things aren't going well or going according to the timelines, to say, hey, we've had a delay, or we've had a snag, and taking ownership when things don't go well. Because, oh my God, you never know what you're going to find in a side. Hey, like,
I bet. No, you're right. I think the perspective of putting yourself in the client's shoes makes a world of difference. You know, I myself, I learnt that in retail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big time. You know, one thing my father used to teach me was walk the shop before you opened it. So you'd always have to, once the counter had been set for the morning, assuming it was on time, my job was to walk the counter, make sure tickets were straight, you know, make sure things were done in that manner. And that was just the way I got taught.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's important, particularly in any business, that as age or saying, oh, the customer's always right. Well, yeah, that's
yes and no.
Yes and no. But I think just the customer's perspective, I think, is far more powerful than the fact that the customer's always right.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of money in whatever service it is. It's you know, whether it's accounting services is the same. You know, if that was your accountant, you were providing that advice, and you know, would you be comfortable with that? Or in food, you know, if you're taking that home to your family to eat, would you be comfortable feeding it?
Exactly. And I think the other thing, which I didn't realize at the time, but now makes a lot more sense, is both my parents sold cars.
Okay.
And they did it differently as well. So
Right.
my mom had a very different approach to the way my dad did it. My dad was like, oh, get it in, get it out, deal done, made a margin of this and that. Whereas my mom was like, this is someone's like salary, maybe it's their first car, and she would make such a big deal. And, you know, it was like the small things that she did when she delivered a car. And that's what I applied to Hub as well. Like when we hand over a project, I started styling the projects and leaving something small on the table.
Oh, that's amazing.
And someone walked in the other day and went, a female's been in here. The hand wash is like, on point. And I'm like, oh my God. But it's aesthetically pleasing and functional. So that is why it is there.
Yeah. No, look, I think you're right. The small touches or finishes can make a world of difference.
Yeah.
And they're the 1%ers that probably give Hub the stamp that it has.
Yeah. And then, to be honest, you asked about Matrix.
Yes.
So Christian had said Hub would be his last design.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, sure. But what was happening is people would come to our office and say, oh my God, we'd love to work in your office. So then we thought, well, why don't we do another version of it upstairs so people can just rent it out if and when. Because bear in mind, we were a small business starting out and we often needed to have a meeting room space. So to be able to book something out wasn't available then. Maybe it was, but we didn't really look into it. But we've now had the second option of having Hub like Matrix upstairs. And from there, my point of opening Matrix was maybe we could help small businesses like when we were small with contacts and networks, like who do you go to for marketing? Who do you need for bookkeeping? What do you need to have in terms of like your contracts? And, and because I'm a big believer of networks and sharing is caring and putting the right people together, because not everyone will gel well, that will then lead to more business for Hub when that business essentially grows, and then we'll feed into our fit-out company. But it's a pretty cool design.
Yeah. Oh, look, your office is amazing. And I'm going to put that out there. And if you haven't seen it, visit the Hub website because it is super cool. It is really cool.
Yeah.
And I think Matrix is just, I haven't had a chance to head down yet, but from what I've been told, apparently it's just as aesthetically pleasing.
It's like, it's phenomenal. And for me to give my husband credit, I mean, I have to say,
yes,
like,
Christian.
Yeah, he's really good at what he
Shout out.
does.
That's
Shout out to
awesome.
Christian. If you do go to Matrix, in the boardroom, and this is what blew my mind, you can see like the figurine or the figures of the guys in Matrix. I don't even know who the characters are, but anyway. And then when you walk up close, you realize that it's binary code, that he's made this whole wall out of binary code, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, no, it is. I could go on
very
about this
cool.
for a long time.
So obviously, you've founded a business with what was originally your boyfriend at the time.
My boyfriend, yes.
You've now fast forward into 2025, been in business for a long time. How does that day to day look with, because my sister is in my business too. So, but there is a dynamic of business and home life, etc. So how do you balance all of that?
When we're good, we're good. When we're not so good, we're not so good. And I think it's just grounding yourself and going, you know what, we're here for a reason. We can't let personal stuff interfere with work stuff. And essentially, working with families always going to be tricky. But if I could do it with anyone else, I wouldn't. That's it. There's just a trust thing there, and I don't know. Some days,
some days are better than others.
Yeah, some days are better than others.
But in fairness, in any business with anyone, some days are always better than others.
100%.
Whether it's your husband, your sister, or anyone else.
Yeah.
That's the joys of business.
Yeah.
And as you're probably experiencing now as well, you've got those peaks and troughs that if and when things don't go to plan, then you have to be able to navigate that grey art, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. That was the one thing that I had to learn quite quickly in business. Like, analysis paralysis is going to kill you, right? So you just got to deal with it, make a decision, move forward. If it's going to hurt the business, then you just deviate and find another solution. Because if you stop and you focus too much on the negativity, then you really are going to just not move forward. So that's been my whole goal, like learn, improve, grow. Deal with it, let's move forward.
Yeah, and I 100% couldn't agree with you more. Manage by exception is what we would say.
Oh, okay.
Right. So don't focus on this one little teeny-weeny aspect when the bigger picture is actually going to be okay.
Yeah.
So let's just manage that exception to the normality.
Yeah.
Move forward, and if we need to pivot or do what needs to be done, well, let's make a decision, like you said.
Yeah.
Put a plan together, make a decision, and move forward. And from that exercise, we now need to put a backstop measure in place so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. So I think the one thing that I did learn recently, which is 8 years in, is Christian is the visionary. And I would be considered not a manager because I am quite entrepreneurial, but the roles that we play within the business are crucial but different.
Okay.
So where his strengths lie, mine fall short. So I always talk about the yin and the yang. So if he's like focused on getting projects in and doing stuff, and he might not have communicated to the team, and I can see that, then I will then communicate to the team. So it's about tapping in when we need to tap in, essentially.
Okay. And the other thing that fascinates me is, and it is quite a big issue in most industries, but particularly in construction, how do you manage that whole female aspect of construction? Because it is a big issue and we're not going to hide from it at all.
No.
So that must be a challenge, particularly back when you started in 2017.
Yeah. To be honest, it is still a challenge today, and it infuriates me because I don't see gender. If you're smart enough to be in the room, you're smart enough to be in the room. Like, just because I don't wear boots and a hard hat doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think just standing your ground, and there's this perception that when females are assertive, it's aggressive.
Right. Okay.
And that drives me nuts because I've had to learn that I can be assertive without coming across as aggressive and just saying I'm not being aggressive, I'm just being assertive. I had an experience where it was really bad, where there was a contractor that was submitting all these variations, and I could tell from the variations that something was wrong. Either he was in trouble and he was needing cash, or anyway, long story short, brought him in, sat him down, and he did this. I don't want to talk to you. And he pointed at me, and I thought, oh, okay, now what? And he goes, you don't know what you're talking about. I want to talk to Christian.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay. My response to that was, you actually want to talk to me because you're not going to get the outcome that you want if you talk to Christian. Because contractually, I already knew where he was sitting, right? And then he was like, that's it, meeting's over, wrapped up, got up, walked out the office.
Wow.
And I remember walking to my office and I just cried. And Christian was like, don't worry, Val. You said everything you needed to say. So when it came to it, contractually, we paid him out the contract, got him to sign a deed of release. And then he realised that he was so desperate for the funds that he signed a deed of release. And then he couldn't go back. But we had already paid him his full contractual amount. And then I saw him out and about, and he looked at me, and then they'd gone into administration. So I wasn't wrong.
Right.
So that's why he was putting in all these false
Yeah,
claims.
yeah.
And then my comeback was, do you still want to talk to Christian? Because the administrators came to me first, and then I just sent them why is he laughing?
So how did you then grow from that? Because that would be quite obviously a confronting experience. And, I wouldn't say it could be PTSD in some instances if it really emotionally affected you. So how did you then use that experience to learn and grow from? Or is it something that it still troubles you today?
Do you know what? I think it's motivated me even more to talk about it, because there's this misconception that, and I suppose I saw it in the legal space and in the accounting space, where women almost had to fight for their positions the higher they got up the ranks, and almost become like, not male-like or egotistical, but they almost had to become dominant to get heard.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, you don't need to be dominant.
Yeah.
You can do what you do and just get it done. So I did laugh about it afterwards because he went into administration, and secretly I just went, I won. But it was hard.
Of course.
Yeah, so now I'm a bit more wary. So from that experience, we then went, how are we getting our trades on the books? And then we almost went through a whole process because we have never had one bad trade since then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That is fascinating, though. And I think my understanding is it happens a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I think being aware of it, or raising awareness, is probably the starting point. And, we've got a lot of female staff members here in our business and in our profession, as a matter of fact. I actually think it's quite disrespectful if you come across with that motive where, well, you don't know what you're talking about.
But it was the finger in the face, man. I'm like, do you know I'm from Africa? Like,
True.
Yeah.
True. So, obviously, you've gone through a lot. You've experienced professional services and your corporate role. How do you balance the mum and corporate role piece?
To be honest, that threw me for a loop.
Okay.
Because I thought I had managed it all before. I was a stepmom before I was a mom to Harrison. So I had 3 little kids at the time that were 4, 6 and 8. When Christian and I met, they're now 18, 16, 13.
Wow.
Plus a toddler. Yeah. And 2 dogs. I'm fine now. But when I leave work, and I just focus on my time with Harrison is my time with Harrison, and just trying to be as present as I can.
Okay.
Because the mom guilt comes in a lot. And then you still got to keep on top of the housework and stuff. And someone said, well, if you can afford to outsource things that you can't do yourself just to be able to be present, that's what you do.
So presence is key with your children.
100%.
But equally presence at work.
100%.
Right. Because you've got that, I guess, overlaying layer that your husband's at work too.
Yeah. So when I drop Harrison at daycare, I know he's fine and he's in a happy environment. Then I go to work and then I just flip on my work mode. And then when I leave work, I go back into mom mode. Okay. I've actually had to learn to do that because before I couldn't, and that's why I call it mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
My brain was like mashed potatoes for a while.
Right.
I swear to God.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And one thing that I actually did jump across, which I was meaning to ask you about as well, is obviously there was probably a lack of integrity in that situation, and I know that you're a strong believer in integrity in business. So let's just, I know I've jumped and I shouldn't have done that, but I did skip a point. I want to go back to the importance of integrity in business and what your views are and what you see and what you'd like to see and anything you'd like to share with us in either your business or the broader industry.
How much time have you got, Paz? How much time?
Plenty of time.
I think integrity overall should just be a standard, but I'll talk to a couple of points. So one, in the design industry, people don't value the fact that someone's creativity in a plan or a concept or a design is considered tangible work.
Okay.
So 9 times out of 10, they will either take the plan and get another person to build it and then not pay for it, but therefore the copyright sits with us. So in my mind, that's stealing. Well, it's not in my mind, it's the truth, right? Yeah. And it's happened that many times that we had quite a big client do it to us after a few projects. And I went to an IP lawyer and I said, I'm going to tell the world about this. So when it comes out, property council are going to know about it, news needs to know about it, City of Perth. Because essentially what's happening is integrity is important, because if you just take somebody's plans and you build off them and it's not right, it leads to further issues, right? So if it hasn't been designed properly, or if it hasn't got the stamp of approval, all that kind of stuff, there's consequences. Apart from that, it's also someone's putting their heart and soul into their work. And I took some of my designers down for a briefing meeting with a potential new client. And he said, I'm not paying for the design work. And I thought the designers were going to die, because I said, this meeting is over. And he said, why? I said, because these guys have studied for years and years and years to get a qualification. And you don't value the fact that they have a qualification and they're doing a design. And you've basically just told them that they're going to work for free? No. You pay them for the work they do. And then we're walking back to the office and they're like, oh my God, Val, did you really just tell the client the meeting was over? And I'm like, yeah, because your work matters.
Yeah, I value what you do. Yeah,
100%. You know, saying you're going to do what you're going to do. Don't undercut. Don't, like, it's everywhere. And it doesn't, my thing is, good people doing good business, and it's not that hard, Paz. Like, just be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
And that's my motto: good people doing good business.
Yeah. I think, again, you know, you need to. An analogy that I use is, or my father's taught me, is, you need to be able to lie in bed straight at night.
Love that.
Right. So it's like, you need to be comfortable with what you're doing, and you don't want to be going home squirming, or what if happens, or what. Back yourself in, trust your gut, do what's
100%.
right, do good by people, because you wouldn't want it done to you.
That, if I could sum it up the way you just have, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Perth's a small place.
Yes.
Construction is a very tough business to be in. You know, how many people go into construction, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do these big developments, blah, 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 blah. And then, as you rightly put, you know, most of them are going into administration liquidation, particularly right now. I believe it's by percentage the most insolvent industry per se in Australia as we speak.
And that's my whole point, right? That's why our process is the way it is, because we don't want to do fixed price contracts and then the market changes and then the suppliers change. And then we also hold our trades to account, right? So if someone, I mean, we've got a core group of trades that we've worked with for so long that work to our hub standard, right? That when they put a ludicrous price in, we go back and go, are you joking? And then you get the real price, you know? And I think it's that relationship and the honesty. And then it's like, hey, if you don't want to do the job, don't like overquote it. Just say, I can't do it because I don't have capacity.
Correct. Or don't underquote it, specifically knowing you're going to go after the fact with a view to bring it up. And that's what frustrates me too. Even in our industry, in professional services. Oh, well, so-and-so said they're going to do it for this price. Well, that's okay.
Go to them.
If they can confidently deliver you a service or product for that price, take it.
Yeah.
Because you either don't value what we do, or you're not ready, or you're going to be in for a surprise.
Yeah.
If and when that comes to be.
Yeah. So I hate the word variation. No, I'm serious. And people laugh at me because what happens is people go in really low and they sign the contract. Bingo, bango, 100 variations. And our goal is we want to price it holistically that we're within 5 to 10% of the original sum that we agreed to. And we stand by that. And if we don't get the contract, we don't get the contract. But you know what? I don't want to be that firm that just hands out variations, because I feel like it's a shortcut.
Well, yeah, and I'm, again, talking about integrity, you're almost going into it and you're doing the wrong thing from the outset.
Exactly. But the best thing is that we actually are able to design our way through the process as well, so we can change the design if things are going to blow out.
But it's a collaborative with the client.
Yeah.
This is what we think. This is what it's going to do. There may be an increase, but this is the benefit to you.
Yeah.
As opposed to specifically going into a project look, I think a lot of people hate even clients, right? Imagine as a client, right? Oh, we're varying. Or back in professional services, which is relatable to myself, there is out of scope, right? Which is a variation.
Yeah.
But the out of scope needs to be communicated.
Yes.
And it needs to be agreed.
Yes.
There's no point going into a job and then going, oh, we'll get them on the out of scope because we know we need to do X, Y, and Z.
Oh,
that is so not on.
It's 100%. And honestly, if you had me as a client, I'd be your worst nightmare because I go through every single line item.
Yeah.
Because.
Rightly so. I wouldn't want it done to me.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we share very similar views there. Integrity in business is important.
Yeah.
And again, I'm full of analogies and buzzwords today. But as I say, common sense isn't so common. I feel like integrity in business also isn't that common.
No, it's not.
And which is disappointing because when I feel like back in the day, as they call it, but back when businesses were really starting, small businesses would come together and they'd collaborate and they'd want, they wouldn't see each other as competitors. They'd see each other as other businesses trying to, make a dollar or make a name for themselves. Whereas people will unfortunately go out now and develop business after business with a motive.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Because I know, you're the host of this podcast, but we're going to switch it around.
Okay, here we go. I haven't had this done before.
No, haven't you? Oh, okay. Do you feel that it's your background, being with your parents? Because you talk about old school. Because I have a feeling like that's where my views come from. My parents raised me in a very old school, traditional way about values, morals, integrity, and community, right? Do you think it comes from that?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
That my upbringing has shaped myself and the way I view business for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that was, again, that's probably my little secret to how I have, grown the way I have is because of my parents and the morals and the business and just growing up in business, at such a young age. I've had times where I had some of the staff, their kids have gone and worked for my parents, right?
Oh, wow.
Where I've gone, I want your son or daughter to experience what it is, what it's really like. And they've come back and they've gone, my son really, because it was just a school holiday thing or whatever it is. But yeah, one of the guys that used to work for us, we sent his son there to work for my parents for a small period of time. He goes, mate, he loved it. Like just to see what it's all about.
And what it takes, right?
Yeah, and what it takes, right? Because we're a small business too. We're not a huge mega business. We're just fortunate we've been around a long time, but we still sit in that small business realm. And yeah, it's the things that I've been taught, which I thought was normal. I'm now sharing and teaching it right now. It's just crazy.
Oh my God, thank you, because I thought the same thing. I was like, but why is this not happening this way? Surely, so it's okay. So it's right. It's the way we were raised.
The way we were both raised that we've now, and I think that it's then up to us to then share that to either the next generation of business owners or children or whatever it is to ensure that we get that continuity because, as I said earlier, like it's not that common.
No.
Sharing these views. Yeah.
What do they say? Common
sense isn't that common.
Free.
But
It's very expensive or something.
Common sense is free, but it's expensive. Okay, I haven't heard that one yet.
I don't know. Maybe I've got it wrong. Probably have it wrong.
That's okay. Whatever it is, it means something to you, and that's what's important. So Val, then moving forward, what keeps you going? You've had from South Africa to Perth to professional services to construction to the Matrix to co-working spaces. Like, what's next in the illustrious career of Val and Hub and Christian?
Yeah. To be honest, I think Hub is really my baby, and it's my brand. I don't know if you saw the LinkedIn post where I put the Hub logo on Harrison and put it out on LinkedIn.
I haven't seen that one.
And I was like the Hub Bub. So any
The Hub Bub.
Yeah,
That's a great post.
any opportunity that I have to, like put the little Hub brand out there,
Cool.
I think is important. Where I want to go is we're more than just a fit out company. In actual fact, we are a property construction service company where we don't just make things look pretty, because that's another thing that gets me, and I find it quite condescending. We don't just make things look pretty. But essentially it's like working with building owners to go, okay, you've got an asset here. How do we take what you currently have and improve the infrastructure and the not so pretty, and then apply our skill set, right? So we've got architects, interiors, engineers, we've got all these people on the books. So if you get the mechanics right on the inside and then you make things look pretty to secure more tenants through long-term fit outs that last 10, 15 years, and you can just churn it. So it's probably, we won't have a rebrand, but I think it will go from Hub Interiors to the Hub Group.
Okay.
And then we'll deviate into sections.
Yeah, okay. So it's more of an end-to-end type offering. That's where you...
Yeah, so we already do the end-to-end.
Okay.
So we do the from design, project management, construction from the fit-out stage, but we also do the make good, the base build. So if you guys had to leave your office and you've got a clause in your contract that you need to leave it the way you got it, then we can come in and do that.
Got it.
But also, making buildings more energy efficient is another thing. So getting people into service, because what I noticed in our industry is a lot of wastage, actually.
Okay.
So if we go in to do a fit out or change something, they'll just throw desks away and chairs and
true.
Or put an electrical board in, but oh wait, that doesn't serve a purpose for the new tenant. So I've just spent 20 grand there, and now I've got to come back and... So you've got to look at things holistically, and that's kind of where I want to take Hub.
Cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I tend to agree. Sharing an experience when we moved into our office, they were stripping all the other floors. And I said,
can we repurpose those?
Can we and they went, sure, we're about to start stripping them, part of the deal, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we picked up a lot of furniture and repurposed it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing what you could create or do from repurposed materials.
Yeah.
You can do some really cool things.
Well, that's also part of the difference of Hub, right? Yeah. We don't just look at it and go, oh, well, let's see how much money we can make out of this client. It's like, let's see what we can work with, because, cash is tight, market softening, all that kind of stuff. Let's see what we can work with and change the space, get someone in, and then when the market's better, we can go in and put all the niceties in again,
Love it. So Val, it's been great getting to know you a bit better and getting to probably better understand your journey in business. And I think Hub has a fantastic brand. I think Christian yourself are doing such a great job and have some of the coolest fit outs that exist in Perth amongst all the other services that you guys provide. So where can people find you?
Level 1 to 20 St. George's Terrace.
Okay. In person?
In person?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how many people are going to come for a coffee?
I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know how to use the coffee machine. I'm not even joking.
Oh no. We'll have to make sure one of the guys are there to help us.
So our website is just hubinteriors.com.au. Obviously we've got Instagram, Hub Interiors Australia, and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So. Well, thank you for making the time again to
thank
come on the
you.
podcast.
Honestly, this is so cool. This is like a highlight moment for me.
Amazing.
I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed it and look forward to maybe part 2 or to see where we get to. We might have a new podcast room coming in at some point.
Maybe
you never know.
In Matrix.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we can call it the black and white.
That's
versus
it.
The grey.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Val.